If you are tired of starting and stopping, restarting and stopping the journey towards your goals and dreams and projects, this one is for you. If you prioritize momentum over results, you will get both. But if you prioritize results over momentum, you will get neither. I talked about momentum in many of my videos, but I realized that most people still don't understand what momentum really is or how to actually prioritize momentum. By the way, I know this is a different setup than my usual videos. Don't pay attention to it, listen to the message, but I will say that later on you will understand that just even this video and how I'm making it is a proof of the message that I'm sending. So, prioritizing momentum, that is forward movement. Momentum, in the sense of how I'm talking about it, is a psychological, subjective experience of forward movement through life. Now, we could have a sense of momentum in some specific area or related to a very specific goal, but we could also have, which is something that I'm trying to create for people or to help people attain, sense of momentum in life in general. I like to call it existential momentum. That is the subjective feeling that you are moving forward through the entirety of your life, not just moving forward or towards a very specific goal. So how do we prioritize this forward movement, and how do we attain this psychological, subjective experience of moving through life and never getting stuck, no matter how difficult the circumstances may be? Well, it's by realizing that by prioritizing results, especially immediate results, you are effectively sabotaging yourself. In what way? Well, if you prioritize immediate results in any project where you are not significantly experienced and have a history, a long history of showing up daily, consistently for that goal or project, unless that is the case, then you are almost certainly setting up expectations that you will not be able to fulfill. Let me repeat this. Unless you have a long history of showing up for yourself consistently in the realm of that goal or that project, then by embarking on the journey and setting up expectations and setting up routines and structures that are primarily focused on achievement of immediate results, you are sabotaging yourself because you haven't taken care of the most important thing. And the most important thing is that you can perceive yourself day by day showing up for that goal. Because if you can perceive yourself day by day showing up for that goal, you are boosting your intrinsic motivation, you are boosting your self-esteem, you are boosting your sense of self-efficacy, and you are boosting your belief in your capacity to sustain long-term effort for that goal or project. And we know that long-term sustained effort, that is consistency, persistence, and resilience, are needed for every goal worth achieving. So, what is the other side that is prioritizing momentum? It is realizing that if I still don't have a long history of showing up, if I still don't have sufficient evidence of being able to show up consistently for months and years, if I don't have this evidence, if I don't have this history, then I'm almost paying zero attention to immediate results. And I'm designing my routine, I'm setting my expectations, I'm designing my structure in a way that it will focus on enabling me to show up. So, let's use the most basic example, physical development. A person trying to lose weight has no business considering the most optimal scientific approach to losing weight unless they're absolutely confident in their ability to show up daily for that most optimal scientific structure and routine. No business doing so. A person who wants to lose weight and doesn't have immense confidence in their ability to show up daily needs to find or create discover through experimentation and brainstorming a routine that is flexible and that is enjoyable enough to make them at least a bit excited about showing up daily. And if it doesn't get them excited, at least not make them miserable or terrified of showing up daily. And that's not what you hear from people who are always seeking the most optimal approach for best results. That's not what you hear. This applies to writing, this applies to learning languages, this applies to learning to play instruments, this applies to making YouTube videos. So I can now address the video that I'm making in a car. As you've seen, most of my videos are done in a setting where I'm in my hotel room or Airbnb at that moment, because I travel often. And it's a modest setup, but it's a somewhat stable setup, where today I'm spending most of the day on the road. And this is how I'm making the video. But consider this: if I was constricted by the idea that the best way that a self-improvement / psychology / personal growth channel is supposed to make videos is to have their recording studio and to have a whiteboard, which, by the way, I would love. But if I was constricted by that idea, rather than gaining and creating momentum in my video creation, then today, on this day, I would give up from daily creation of YouTube videos. Or I would have given up long time ago. However, what I'm seeking is momentum that will carry me to the point where I will have that whiteboard, where I will have my studio, where I will have my office, where I will have the stability to present myself and my videos in a more quote-unquote serious manner. Maybe people don't care about it. At this moment, I care, and I do look up to certain people, certain educators, and I imagine that if I want to do justice to my potential, I want to have and I should have. I'm trying to block out the sun with my head. I want to have and I should have a dedicated space with probably a whiteboard to be able to visually represent some of the ideas and also show you how I do my brainstorming, how I do my note-taking. I want to have all of those things. I think I should have some of those things at some point. But once again, what is the priority? Is the priority immediate results? Me having that whiteboard right now? Well, if that's the priority, and I know that I cannot have that stability right now, then what is that if not all or nothing thinking? If I can't have the whiteboard, then I will not record videos. If I can't have the stability, then I will not record videos. But if momentum is my priority, as it is, because I made it my priority, if momentum is my priority, I'm going to do whatever it takes to record daily YouTube videos. And today I'm recording one while traveling, because I cannot count on when I will for certain be in my next accommodation. I cannot count on how late that's going to be, even though I recorded at least 10 videos from the last 60 daily videos. I recorded at least 10 of them past 2 a.m. Still, today I feel like I don't want to gamble with how late I'm going to be or how late I'm going to arrive at my accommodation. So, in order not to gamble, I'm recording the video in this environment, counting on the fact that what matters is execution rather than specific structure of execution. So now when it comes to you, what is your goal? What is your project? What is it that you are trying to do on a consistent basis? And if you have an answer to that question, then the next question is, how can you prioritize momentum? How can you actively disregard immediate results? How can you actively choose to redefine your structure, to redefine your program, your routine, so that it creates an internal and external environment where you find it infinitely easier, less friction, less intimidating, less overwhelming, and hopefully more enjoyable and more fun to show up for yourself and for your project, dream, or goal. I think you have two very concrete, very serious, hopefully not too serious, but serious in the sense of they will yield serious results if you answer them. questions. So two very real, concrete, serious, hopefully interesting questions that if you spend some time with them and answer them, I know that your chances of showing up daily will increase immeasurably. Thank you.